They call me M, House of Zotic, first of her name, adopter of the unwanted, mother of ferrets, dragons, doves, kookaburras, rabbits, snakes, and a whole bunch of other animals. Hey, what's up creatures, it's Em, and today I'm back with another creature feature, the series where I tell you a little bit more about an animal which you may or may not be familiar with. If you haven't already, remember to hit that subscribe button down below, become part of the creature crew, and also if you want to be kept up to date with all my other videos, hit that notification button as well so you can be the first to see when I upload a video. If you are a dragon fan, today's video is for you because we're going to be looking at the bearded dragon.
Oi! That's my fingernails. You can't eat those, sausage. They're not food.
In today's video, we're going to be learning a ton of bearded dragon facts. We're also going to be doing a fun experiment to see which live foods are my bearded dragon's favorites. So definitely stay tuned for that. Are you going somewhere? Today's video is sponsored by Dragon Mania Legends. Dragon Mania Legends is a dragon breeding game where you can actually breed over 200 species of dragon. Just like in real life, you have to give your dragons proper care so you can get your own dragon island and furnish it with all the different habitats for your individual dragons. You can feed your dragons, train them, pet them, level them up, and then they become dragon warriors. In the game, you can battle other real players around the world. Best of all, the game is free to play and you can download it on the App Store on iOS, Android, and on Windows. So if you would love to have a dragon in your life but you just don't have the time or the funds to look after a real dragon, this game is for you. If you've also been enjoying Dragon Mania Legends, then comment down below with your favorite dragon. Check out Dragon Mania Legends by using my link in the description box below. Behold, the taco dragon. The Ziggy dragon! Oh Ziggy, I have to do a story about you, darling. You're too cute. Dobby dragon! Self-explanatory. Naughty. Likes to hoard socks. This beautiful creature in my hands is Bad Idea the bearded dragon. Bad Idea the bearded dragon was given to us when her owners couldn't care for her anymore. Unfortunately, although they did love her, they didn't have too much information about how to look after her, so they didn't give her the correct diet, and as a result she is quite a stunted female. Bad Idea is called Bad Idea because we were supposed to be accepting her on a short-term basis. We were actually going to look for a forever home for her rather than keeping her, but we fell in love with Bad Idea, and so it turned out to be a very good idea to keep her. Bearded dragons come from the deserts of Australia.
Australia has very strict laws with the exportation of their animals. In the past, bearded dragons have been illegally smuggled for the pet trade. Thanks to the success of captive breeding efforts, bearded dragons are now one of the most common reptiles in the pet trade. Because they are so successfully bred in captivity, virtually nobody is illegally exporting them anymore. Rare exceptions of smuggling beardies do still happen, as with many species of animals, but Australia's wildlife exportation laws are so strict and the penalties for breaking the law are so high that very few smugglers will risk breaking the law to export these commonly available creatures.
The only animals which are exported from Australia are usually for zoos, and even this practice is strictly regulated. So that's very good news. If you ever see a bearded dragon in captivity in the UK, the US, or anywhere else for that matter, you can pretty much bet that it's a captive individual and has not been taken from the wild. Bearded dragons are called bearded dragons because they have these spiny protrusions that run down their throat. Although they look very spiky and ferocious, they're actually there mostly for display. If bearded dragons are excited or threatened, they can puff this out to make themselves look larger, a little bit like how a cat can make its hair stand on end to appear larger. They are reptiles and they're cold-blooded, which means that they rely on external sources to warm their bodies. When it comes to distinguishing male bearded dragons, males have typically a broader head and a broader tail, whereas typically speaking the females will have a more slender tail and a slighter build. A healthy adult bearded dragon can usually grow between 14 to 22 inches long. I will remind you at this point that this female over here is stunted, so this isn't a true representation of the size of a female bearded dragon. You're quite small, but I love you. Typically speaking, the bearded dragon moves fairly slowly, but They can sprint over short distances of up to 9 miles an hour. Having the ability to run away helps to protect them from predators. It also helps them to run over hot surfaces very, very quickly, and also helps them to keep up with their prey. Some of their prey moves pretty fast. A healthy bearded dragon can live anywhere between 10 and 15 years. Some specimens have been recorded to live to almost 20 years. Of course, in the wild they have predators to contend with, which means that their lifespan is drastically shortened in the wild. I happen to share my home with one of the top predators of these beautiful lizards, and that is Babakook, the evil kookaburra. Are you ready for it? Alright, 1, 2, 3. Yes, kookaburras are expert lizard catchers, so unfortunately, bad idea would be on the menu for Babakook. Naturally, they have to live very separately. Bearded dragons are classified as omnivores because they will eat a variety of foods. They'll eat anything from vegetation all the way to different types of invertebrates and insects. Just like us, bearded dragons have amazing personalities, and they also have their own dietary tastes. Some bearded dragons love to eat their greens, especially dandelion and mustard greens, but some bearded dragons much prefer their live food. And this girl over here is no exception. I'd love to show you how a bearded dragon eats, so we're going to go and have a look now at some of Bad Idea's favorite foods. Worms, so many worms. This is what you have to have a really big supply of if you have the same amount of reptiles and birds as we do. We've got about 2,000 worms, and this is our weekly supply of worms. And in here we have some horned worms too. I really love horned worms. They grow so quickly. They pretty much double in size every single day. Yeah, they are an amazing source of protein and as well water, because there's a lot of water in them, but they're an amazing source of protein for a lot of different reptiles. The only thing is they can be a bit sticky. Let me bring some out. Look how cute they are. Hello. You're going to be food now. I'm sorry. Place your bets. Where will he go first? So she went for her super worms first, and I'm not surprised because they move around more and they draw the eye, but I'm gonna see if I can get her to have some of these as well. I hope you guys found that interesting. I love their tongues. They're just so like bulbous and sticky. That sounds so unappealing. There are many species of lizards in the world that can perform something called caudal autonomy. Caudal autonomy is when a lizard or an animal can choose to drop its tail or slough its tail in order to get away from predators. The bearded dragon, however, cannot perform caudal autonomy. If it loses its tail for whatever reason, it's always involuntary, and that tail will never grow back. The tail will form a stump over the injured area, but it will never grow back to a full tail. In the wild, bearded dragons will frequently encounter one another. Dragons will show submission to each other through waving. If a big dragon comes along and a smaller dragon wants to be like, I come in peace, they will literally do a little nervous wave like a hi. That's exactly what it looks like. In fact, I think I put up a Musical.ly post of Bad Idea doing a little wave. I'll try to insert that here. This little wave is enough to stop them from fighting each other, but of course the males can choose to fight for dominance, for territory, or for the best females. No, that's not another lizard, that's just your face. Bearded dragons really do have a ton of personality, and they all have their own individual personalities. This makes them very fun and interactive to keep as pets. They're usually very docile, and they're not too difficult to keep as long as you do your research. Bearded dragons have the ability to swivel their eyeballs, to give you eye contact, and also to blink, so it gives them a lot of personality because you always know when they're watching you, and they're always watching you. They have amazing eyesight. Somebody's watching me. Bearded dragons have the ability to slightly change their colour. They don't have a colour spectrum the way that a chameleon would have, and they can't completely change their colour the way some cephalopods can, but they can certainly darken their colour when they're feeling cold, and this helps to attract more heat because of course darkness attracts heat. And when they're in the sun basking and soaking up heat, they can actually make their color appear slightly lighter. This helps them to camouflage from predators and also stops them from getting too hot. Bearded dragons are not viviparous. Viviparous means an animal which can give birth to live young, such as humans. They are oviparous, meaning that they are egg layers. The typical clutch size of eggs for a gravid female is between 16 and 24 eggs. And bearded dragons are a diurnal species. Diurnal meaning that they wake up during the daytime. Bearded dragons really do have the most amazing personalities, and they are very, very common in the pet trade. If you're considering bringing a bearded dragon into your life, please do your research. There are a ton of care videos already on YouTube. Unfortunately, bearded dragons are so common that they're very commonly discarded. There's now a surplus of bearded dragons. If you're interested in bringing a bearded dragon home with you, definitely check out some rescue groups. You can find a lot of bearded dragon rescue groups online, or if you're not sure where to go for a rescue, you can also try getting in touch with regular domestic rehoming websites and regular domestic rehoming centers and seeing if they can point you in the direction of a good reptile rescue. Thank you guys so much for watching this creature feature. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did enjoy it and you're not subscribed yet, consider subscribing by hitting that subscribe button down below. And if you have your own bearded dragon facts or you have any dragon care tips for people, definitely leave them in the comment box below. Also, a massive thank you to everybody who came to see me at White Plains yesterday. I was so happy to meet you all, and please don't feel that when I do a meetup you have to bring me anything. You guys were so generous with your art and your little gifts, but please don't feel that you have to bring me anything in the future. I'm honestly truly very happy just to meet you guys and get a big squishy hug. So thank you guys so much who came to see me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another video soon. Bye!